Hello, you're welcome once again to your favorite home front with the Edits on EWTV. Thank you for always joining as usual. So remember we told you last week that we are having a series for the month of September. And our discussion again today is the topic, ways of watering your seed for a flourishing marriage. Yes. And last week, we talked extensively about praying together as a couple, the power and the efficacy of praying together. And then today, we're taking our discussion further, but today we want to talk about something slightly different. And our discussion today will be on speaking words of affirmation about your spouse. What are you saying about your spouse?
Not just to, but even about.
Yes, not just saying to your spouse. What we know regularly is to speak words of affirmation to your spouse. Yes. But today we want to look at speaking about your spouse. Even before we talk about speaking, thinking. What do you think about your spouse? What do you say about your spouse to your family? What do you say about your spouse to your friends? What are you saying about your spouse? What is it you're saying? So that's what we're talking about today.
Very true. You know, so many people talk well about their spouse when they're speaking to their spouse. You know, they say a lot of words of affirmation to their spouse. When you're there, you look good, you are the breast, you are this, you are that. But outside of that circumference where the spouse is not there, you hear quite a lot what people say about their spouse, you know. And so we're going to be talking about that. And why we need to speak well about our spouse, whether they are there or they are not there. Yes. Because what we speak carries power, and it says a lot about what we perceive about our spouse. And so just push it from there. You know, so many things happen even at the course of marriage. Yes, we have our issues as couples, you know, things happen. We are not perfect people, so we see a lot of imperfections, you know. Some people, when they go to their family and they want to start telling them things about their wife, they tend to agree, you know, and also join the family in saying some negative things about their spouse. You know, that your wife doesn't talk well. You say, yes, but she doesn't talk well. Your wife is too fat. You join the family to say, yes, she's too this. And so, you know, and when they are around their friends, you know, they are telling them something about your spouse. Some people will keep, you know, affirming to that.
Yes.
But when they come, they don't want to tell their spouse that. They keep saying, you are this. But what happens is that these words you are hearing from these people and you are agreeing and affirming to that begin to settle in your mind. And with time, you begin to see your spouse in that light. So when we're talking about, you know, saying the right thing, watering your seed, what are you also saying about that person when the person is not there? It has a lot to do with how your marriage will grow and how you have a flourishing home. Yeah.
And you know, talking about watering your seed, you know, there are sometimes the seed doesn't look like it. There are times it doesn't look like it's sprouting. There are times it doesn't look like it's forthcoming. But you know, a correct farmer or gardener keeps watering regardless.
Very true, regardless.
So, you know, sometimes, yes, it's true. Some of you want to say, but my partner is this, my partner is that. It could be true. Yes, it could be true. But our responsibility is to keep watering. Keep saying what you want to say. Keep believing what you want to say. You go, some of us, especially women, you go out to the public and somebody says something about your partner, and you just pick it and you agree, yes, it's true, that my husband is this, that my husband is that. The truth is, your husband at home will not be anything less than what you are saying he is.
Very true.
Somehow in your subconscious, you will even begin to see the thing you are saying about your husband. And it may not actually be, but because that's what you're thinking in your mind, that's what you're already saying out with your mouth, that is what your husband or your wife will become.
Very true.
So we must be careful. What are you saying about your partner? Some of us go out and people are saying things and we cannot stand in defense of our partners. You can't stand in defense of your husband or your wife to say, no, don't say this about my wife. You can't set a boundary for people of what they say about your partner.
Around you.
When you do that, you are not watering your seed. And when you don't water the seed, it will not grow. And if the seed doesn't grow, it cannot germinate or produce good fruits. So you can't even have peace in the home. These things are minute. These things are tiny. In fact, as we're talking about it, it may seem as if, well, what are they saying? As tiny as it is, it goes a long way to form your home.
Very true.
All right, so I think we should take a break and come back.
Take a short break. Don't forget that you can reach us on our handles. You can even drop your comments. As we speak, you can reach us on all our handles displayed on the screen. You can send us a private mail. You can send us a question on any of our handles, and we'll be sure that we'll take your questions and we'll handle them immediately. So we'll be right back. Join us again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Thank you once again for joining us. We're talking about watering your seed, and we are streamlining today to words of affirmation you say about your spouse. And we are saying not just to your spouse, but even about your spouse. What do you say when your spouse is not there? How do you react to what people say about your spouse that is negative? When people begin to pass comments or say things about your spouse, do you take it? Do you join them? Do you begin to feed on it? Or do you create an environment, draw a boundary where people can't just come and start talking, saying negative things about your spouse? That doesn't mean that, yes, somebody cannot correct, your spouse, or say, okay, I saw this, that is not, there's a place of being open to learn. That is that. But when somebody is really coming to attack the personality of your spouse, saying negative things about your spouse to dent your marriage, to dent your union, what are your reactions? Do you join in that? So many people come to say good words about their spouse, but when they go out, they say a lot of negative things about that. And we're talking this scripture about a man that found gold in a field. The Bible said that when man finds that, he will sell everything in order to, purchase that field, because he saw that there's something important about that. So the Bible speaking about somebody who found a treasure in the ground, and he's going to dig to find that. And one of the things we've learned in watering your seed, that as you are digging to find that gold, that beauty, to bring out that best in your husband, in your wife, there's so many rubbish you see along the way when you are digging. You are looking for gold and you are digging. You are going to see mud, you are going to see leather, you are going to see all manner of dirty things. But is it mud you are looking for? No. Is it leather you are looking for? No. So most people forget what they're actually looking for and focus on things that are not really their concern. It's not start seeing mud and say, oh, why is this mud? Everywhere is dirty. I'm so dirty. Yes, because you're looking for gold. So as you are trying to bring out the best from your spouse, there'll be mud, there'll be dirt that you see. But will you concentrate on the dirt or the mud? No, because there's something you're looking for, so you press until you get it. So are we saying that your spouse will not have shortcomings? No, but there's something. If your heart is open to know that there's a precious seed in this man, in this woman, and I'm going on the way to get it, to bring out the best. So whatever rubbish I'm seeing along the way is not going to deter me, because I'm hopeful to see something. So when people bring that, how do you react? Do you join them and say, yes, I'm seeing mud, this man is muddy, this man is messy? What are you saying about your spouse outside your spouse? So it's not enough to say words of affirmation to your spouse. What do you say outside? How do you portray him outside? Do you go and say, yes, this woman is a wicked woman, she's a talkative, she's useless, but when you come in, greet her and say, honey, I love you. You go out and say, this man is just so foolish, he's so big, he's so fat, he's so dirty. And when you come in, you praise him and honor him. It's not enough. So that means what you're doing is not coming from within. And you can't see beauty, out of that union and glory until you begin to it's coming in from within. Whether you are there, whether the person is there or not, you are still expressing or saying the same thing. So many people have endangered their marriage because they hear things from outside. They keep listening to people who keep saying negative things, and it settles and they come into their home and it becomes messy. So we really need to be careful what you say, both before and outside of your spouse.
So there is something in your spouse. There is something that your spouse has. There is gold. There is treasure. A way to water your seed is to dig out that treasure. Your spouse is the one that has the treasure. He or she cannot dig it out. It is your responsibility to dig intentionally and patient. With patience, you will dig it out. And you know, I implore us to be husbands and wives that see beyond the now of your spouse.
Very true.
There is something about your spouse. Praise him. Praise her. Go before people. Say the nice things about your spouse. Overlook the weaknesses in the presence of people. Say sweet things about your spouse. See, a lot of people, what moves them to arrange and organize their own home is what you are saying about your spouse. There must be something special about your spouse. Feed on it. Talk about it. Blow it. Talk about it. Praise your spouse. Say pleasing and nice things to your spouse. Call the things that you are not seeing as though they are there. Even God calls the things that be not as though they were. You are a team. Remember that whatever you're saying about your spouse, you are saying that to yourself. If you are putting your spouse down in front of others, you're doing that to yourself. If you're praising him or her, you are doing that to yourself. So I am sure we have had another good time with this conversation.
Yes.
And remember, it continues. Next week is also going to be mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today again. We are still your hosts, the Editors.
Bye-bye.
See you again.